Right. Germany round 2. Go all the way back to UK 1 here. Very interesting looking board so far already. The UK bought 2 fighters, 1 artillery and 2 infantry. Artillery, 2 infantry to India, and then 2 fighters to the United Kingdom. Combat, killed my transport in 5. Took Libya, losing an infantry. Attacked the Caucasus with an infantry, 2 fighters, and failed to take, losing an infantry and killed an infantry tank. It's quite a risky battle, but the UK had to take it. And then killed the destroyer transport in 61. Yeah, so a pretty standard UK turn, except that he left my fleet in Sea Zone 7 completely alive, which I was not expecting. But I suppose since Germany has a massive air force now, I can afford to just sack off my planes, because I have more on the way, right? I suppose that's why he's done it. I think regardless of what he buys here, I would actually still hit this. Because he's expected to take at least 1 or 2 hitbacks. Maybe 1. So yeah, I have a fleet left. After UK 1, which is insane. Yeah, so that will help me zone off the UK for a couple more rounds until the US eventually arrive. Japan bought 2 infantry, 2 transports, and a fighter. Yeah, we weren't sure what was going to happen here. It could swing into a KJF. Since I did the big air buy with Germany, the Allies could have offered like a favorable battle here, and I could have got diced, right? And then Germany would be very far behind because I bought massive air. I have no infantry after this point here. So we were worried of a KJF. We were worried that after they stacked and did the jam, they would go for Sea Zone 37, but they didn't. But we want to still be cautious because Japan did not do Pearl. Yeah, he did this buy, which is it's a cautious buy, I think. He could buy 2 transports next round, so that's still fine. Japan killed the cruiser in 61. Took Yunnan, no units lost. Took Buri, no units lost. Took Anhui, losing an infantry, and then failed Burma, but killed the infantry. That was a pretty good round for Japan there. So yeah, the UK fleet has moved into 33 and 23. This looks very obviously like a KGF, I mean. And the UK has saved all of its boats. Because, well, yeah, he might need his entire navy to break through with the US at this point. So I could just keep buying more and more air a turn. Don't think that's advisable for me to do, but I don't need any more air. But, yeah. Alright, so yeah, good little start for Japan there. Aircraft carrier destroyer, 2 transports, 2 infantry for the US. This is a standard kill Germany build. And is fully evacuating the Pacific completely. So, at the very least, it looks like Japan will have a pretty good expansion game. And harassment, potentially. We'll see what happens round 2. They could always come back. It'd be a lot slower than starting round 1, but they could always come back. Since the UK fleet does have... Yeah, the UK still has a fleet here. They could always try something. Yeah, we were worried. We were quite worried of the UK doing C-37 and also dropping a fleet. That would be pretty decisive. But it'd be very confrontational. It would force Japan to engage, and it would actually buy time for the US to get involved. Russia bought 7 artilleries. Took the Caucasus for free and just stacked west of Russia. Interesting. I was expecting Russia to hit Karelia, but I think it's fairly obvious what this buy is for. It's the dead zone, the Caucasus. We were going for a stack of the Caucasus, G2 and J2, with the Japanese fighters, and I think we still are going to do it. Now, it is dead zoned. It is dead zoned. It's like a comfortable 90, I think. Let me go find the calculation. I think I did calculate, and it was roughly 80% for the Allies to win, with just Russia alone, which would mean that the UK could sack their material off to make it better odds for Russia, right? And it'd be a 1-2, it'd be a double whammy. The Allies kill the German tank corps and the Japanese air in one move, which is absolutely brutal. But the plan is I'm going to stack this still. Japan is going to air raid Moscow. On an average result, Japan has 3 fighters left. And with 3 fighters left, the Axis will have a 73 to hold, with minus 16 attacker profit, with just Russia engaging. We don't know what the UK is going to do. The UK can counter this move if Elric sees this. I think this is a pretty strong counter if the UK simply puts their fighters in Moscow. Or takes the initiative and hits the German stack to soften it for Russia, right? Sacks all their material off initially. To weaken it, right? After then, I'd think it'd be roughly a 50-50 for the Caucasus, which Russia is forced to take. They cannot allow an Axis stack of the Caucasus round 2. It's quite disgusting if the Axis can pull it off. Now, the reason I did this buy was to go for a West Russia strike, G2. Now the combat is a 77 with a 7.6 attacker profit, but the AA guns, you can shoot at 6 of my planes, and I just don't have a good feeling about it. I really don't. So we're going to go for a more of a decisive move, I suppose you could call it, because the Allies have to deal with it. They can't allow Germany to just get away with this, and Japan to assist. It is not as catastrophic as it might seem for the Axis if the Allies pull off this. Because Germany is making so much money, I can buy 15 units this turn, and then I can buy 15 units next turn. And I still have a massive air... I don't lose the German... the Axis don't lose the German Air Force. They lose the Japanese Air Force. And Japan could just buy a plane a turn. To recover, slowly recover, and just expand like they normally do in a game. And the game would probably just turn into a normal game afterwards, after this huge fight. I'd probably just go straight back to normal and meta. For the most part. So after all that yapping, I'll probably cut some of it down. I'm going to buy 14 infantry, and an artillery piece. I'm going to stack the Caucasus, attack Libya, Egypt, stack Archangel with a small stack Karelia, and probably throw as much infantry forward as I can, because the idea is that the Allies have to hit me. They can't really afford to trade anywhere else. The idea is I'm just going to chuck as many Germans forward as possible. Russia can trade, and Germany won't be able to trade much back. But if they trade and don't hit the Caucasus, Germany is solidified in the Caucasus, and there's not much they can do, because I have the German Air Force available to stack on top of the Caucasus. This is a forced move. We're forcing the Allies' hand to hit this. So I'm going to chuck as many Germans as I can forward. It'll be very thin for the Germans, because there'll be no infantry left on the front line out to trade the front line again, but this is the plan. So, that'll be the buy. I'm going to come down. I can still get away with this move. I'm not sure why Russia's left this exposed fighter. It could have been bait. But on an average case, on an average airstrafe result, the Axis still have a 73 to hold. Even if Russia gets a hit back right now. If Russia gets a hit back, I've calculated with the Russian hit back. So literally the only counter is the UK stacking their fighters here, or hitting the Caucasus and sacking all of its material off, which would be still a profit for it would still be hugely advantageous for the Axis, because then the UK has no air force left to defend India, and then Japan could prep to go for India. This bomber will assist this and can land in Italy and still zone off 7. Not that he 8, I mean. I'm trying to zone off 8 from him putting a fleet down. I'm pretty sure that is the case. Yeah, 1-2. Lands in Italy. I'm buying a full buy, so I'm using all my recruit slots. Well protected. So yeah, good luck to Germany. Come on, boys. Excellent. Outstanding. Okay. Assuming average results, it's now an 83 to hold. I think this is correct. This is the correct move. The question is, do I leave one dude behind? Because at the my trades are going to be very, very efficient. I can leave one dude behind in Finland and then move this guy, so I can still technically trade 2 of the 3 territories. But does it really matter? Now, where am I putting my aircraft? I should be able to just get away with moving this guy forward and just leaving an AA gun in Northwestern now. Oh, no, we doing? No, because he's got this transport. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you stay there so I can absorb 2 hits. Not that it matters if he hits my aircraft, really. It doesn't really matter. Right, so with my Air Force in particular, because that's the only real thing I need to decide where to put. Now, I could leave all my air in Finland and, like, really threaten this, but I'm not doing this move to take Moscow. Russia can fully retreat, and the Allies can fully retreat to Moscow and be just fine. I'm not saying they'll do that. That's probably one of the worst moves they could do. They have to hit the Caucasus here. No ifs or buts. They have to. I don't need the Air Force in Finland to put pressure on West Russia, because I could do that with Northwestern. I'm not trying to pressure Moscow. The Allies could just defend it. It's that simple. If I leave them in Northwestern Europe, it forces the Allies to either delay for one more turn, because the entire US Navy will arrive, or stack it and try and nuke my Air Force. I'm going to have, that's 4. Okay, I'm going to have 4, that's 4. I'm going to have 15 attackers on 13. Including this bomber here. It would have been even stronger if the battleship had the freedom to move to 15, but taking out Egypt and that free fighter is far more important. So 15 versus 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm not counting their chances. The UK could technically block me, but by buying a destroyer, stacking a destroyer, yeah. So buying a destroyer and sack, so it'd be down to 11 versus, yeah, that's 11, that's 3, that's 5, 11 v7, which isn't that good anyway, especially if he puts the 4 transports down there. Yeah, so it's even 15 v, yeah, I mean, they're so outnumbered, so this should force the Allies to delay for another turn, at the very least. They can move to 10. And then finally threaten this, because obviously I can't threaten 10. I think, yeah, I think I'm going to choose to actually move this guy forward. I'm just not seeing the Russians just hitting any of this. Where it depends, right? It depends on how well the UK is successful if they do decide to hit the Caucasus, and maybe they might greed a little bit, but you're still trying to kill 6 units in Karelia, so he has to. The Allies have to commit everything to the Caucasus. So yeah, I don't think leaving a guy behind is sufficient for me here. This guy will go here, go towards the Caucasus, and I don't even think they can kill this. They'd have to air raid the units, right? I suppose there is a line where the UK air raids like one of these tiles and then stacks Russia. I guess I'd probably put the A gun there then, right? Yeah, probably. Move this. Yes, yeah. I mean, I could just bait the Allies to hit that, but that's just not a worthwhile target either. Yeah, I suppose the UK could air raid a target and then go into Moscow, and it still achieves Russia having very, very good results on the Caucasus. But the Allies have to somehow deal with this battleship, but they can't afford to. I don't think they can. Alright, excellent. That was a perfect round for the Germans there. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. I still have all my fighters in this area. I think I might as well stick the artillery forward. Like, they can't punish this. They can't. Excellent from the the Germans there. Yeah, I think just stay on submerge here, and the AA dies first. So 48 IPC for the Germans here, with 203 attack power round 2, which is insane to me. I've not seen it that high round 2. Yeah, the Allies are forced to hit this. They can't touch anything else. From the way I see it, I'm not seeing Russia get away with trading the Caucasus and still hitting Karelia. They could hit Karelia, I guess, and strafe it, but not have the intent to kill it. But allowing the Axis to stack the Caucasus round 2 is very, very decisive from the Axis. So yeah, I think that's the end of Germany round 2, and I'll be back for Germany round 3.